happy Saturday. It's taking it to the nub. I believe this might be episode 36 of season 1. I have to say I'm blessed because I have got 5 to 6 of the most wonderful ladies of the leaf and what they have experienced in their lives around cigars and the lifestyle. How's everybody?
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of sideways somehow. You went sideways. All right. Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna mute everybody in the room, and we're gonna start. And I'll unmute you in a second. I'm gonna start with Lakeisha. So just unmute your mic, Lakeisha. Okay, introduce yourself, who you are, if you smoke cigars, smoking cigars, kind of where you're from, all right, and what affiliation you have to the cigar community itself.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry, 1 second. Ouch. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I am Lakeisha. I am, if you guys are familiar with Ace, Jamil, that of course that's to my husband. I'm sorry. But yeah, that is my husband. My affiliation with cigars. I love to have a good cigar whenever I'm not boggled down with all the babies. As you can see, they keep me busy. If I'm not doing schoolwork or working from home from the job, the kids keep me busy. So I love the Sons of Anarchy sticks. I'm more of a flavor. I like the sweet stuff. Like I like a chocolate chip mint cigars I'll have, and I like to have that with it might be weird, but with bourbon. And if I don't have the bourbon, I like to drink a Coors Light from time to time. But
and you're from where?
Virginia.
All right. Very good.
Country town in Virginia.
Fantastic. Okay, I'm going to put you on mute. Val, unmute your mic.
Okay. Hi guys, I'm Val from Frontline Cigars. We're right outside of Chicago, about 20 minutes. I smoke cigars occasionally. I help my husband build the company. I do more of the technical behind the scenes stuff. My favorite cigars, I love the Blue Line, the Dominican Blue, and the Isla del Sol. Those are definitely my favorites.
Okay. And Frontline Cigars is based out of?
We're about 20 minutes outside of Chicago.
All right. Put you off. Diane, unmute your mic. All right. Tell us about yourself.
I'm Diane. I love to smoke cigars. I'm actually the reason why Shane went so far down the rabbit hole and is such is so involved with it, and why he collects them now. Because I enjoyed him smoking a cigar and I liked it. And I was like, I want to try that. So we started going out more together for dates to smoke cigars, and now here we are. Personal favorites, I love Roma Craft, I love Tatuaje, I love Patina. Ezra Zion is another wonderful company. There's quite a few, but yeah, I just love a good cigar. I liken it to almost like beer or wine, where you can like pick up different notes of things, in them. They're chocolatey, beers, they're chocolatey cigars. It's a fun experience, and it's a learning experience. I don't know as nearly as much as Shane does, but I have fun. So.
Okay. You're based out of?
Like Madison, Wisconsin.
Let's go to Linda.
Hello.
And where are you from, and tell us about yourself.
Okay, I'm from North Carolina, but I live in Virginia and I work in Kentucky. So I'm kind of a gypsy, I guess. Not really, but whatever. And by day, I am a licensed medical massage therapist, but I enjoy cigars and write reviews for fun. And I like trying all different kinds of cigars. I have lots of favorites, but I also do social media brand repping, and I rep for Frontline Cigars, which is what I'm smoking.
Very nice. And how long have you been smoking cigars?
I have been smoking cigars for 6 years, but I grew up raising over 100 acres of tobacco with my dad and my granddad and my uncle. So I've always been in the tobacco industry, just in a different way.
All right.
So
Thank you. And we're going to go to Echelon Cigars. I'm sorry we didn't put your name in there. So tell us.
Hey, I'm Kat. I'm the VP of Echelon Cigars. My husband and I run this company. We're veteran owned. We're based out in we're here in Southern California. We're former Army, both of us. And besides our cigar brand, my favorite's probably Oliva. Any of the Oliva cigars are great. Alec Bradley's good too, but yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. We might have a couple of more joining us. One fell off, and there is one more that may join from my local cigar shop, but she was on the road. So I'm going to unmute everybody. And what's interesting about Ladies of the Leaf, everybody wants to ask, when you got started, what got you into smoking cigars. But what I like to know is what is your experience like when you first started smoking a cigar and you walked into a cigar shop? What is your pet peeves of walking into a cigar shop as a woman versus a man? Anyone can start.
Customer service? Like certain places that I go, I will notice that, they don't want to take the initiative. I guess up here in this hick town, they don't have many cigar shops up here in this area, but there's that one that's up here, and the customer service can be very disrespectful. Like they have the humidor spilled. It's like, okay, point me to this type of cigar. I want a cigar with a little bit more flavor, and you get a look like, okay, why the hell you asking me? They're back there. Just go get them.
Interesting.
They don't describe. Yeah, I think it's just something that they just have just there, just to say, hey, we have cigars up here, but they don't really have the heart and soul into the cigars. Like they don't really know their brands and stuff like that.
Anybody else? Any other thoughts on pet peeves of cigar shops?
I mean, I've always had myself.
go ahead.
But that's mostly because we end up knowing the people really well at some point, and they've always been attentive and trying to help. I really haven't had a terrible experience myself.
Good.
Hi, Kira.
That's good.
And Linda?
I actually used to sales rep for Lazona, Cigar Tobacco, and Harriman Solomon. And one of the biggest things that I ran into frequently was with brick and mortars that were owned by males. They had a hard time talking to me as a female. And it's kind of disrespectful in the sense that, it was like I didn't know about cigars because I was a female. And so I had a hard time with that because I'm really a nice person, and I tend to let things bother me a little bit more than I should. And I should have just, stood my ground, but I didn't. And so as far as being a cigar salesperson, I'm not that great at it. But I love to social media rep. That's fun for me. So, and write reviews. So in that regards, I love it, and I think that's my niche. And the reviews that I write tend to not they tend to be less formal, and just kind of like it's geared towards the average everyday smoker, instead of like you know.
So, Kat, being a female owner or co-owner of a cigar brand, tell us a little bit how that came to be, and was there any challenges with you being a face of the industry?
It came to be, my husband and I wanted to start our own company, and we thought, what is it we want to do? And we had started smoking cigars. We were doing a lot of traveling, and one day we were in the jacuzzi and we are just kind of kicking around ideas, and we're like, why don't we start a cigar company? So we started to go with that. I haven't had any major issues as a female in this industry. I do have a strong background. I mean, in the military, it is a male-driven industry as well. So I guess I've kind of grew up in that. So I haven't had any issues as far as people pushing back or treating me bad. We have a united front, my husband and I. So I don't have those issues where they don't take me seriously. We've built our brand up enough that when people hear our name, they know it's Kat and Nolan. So even if I go alone to somewhere, they listen. They don't just dismiss me because I'm a female. So that's something that I'm lucky to have already established in this game.
Good. Now, Val, you are the take care of the back office part of Frontline Cigars, if I understood. You developed the website, right?
It's developed the website. I do a lot of the SEO. I work with them to find new brands. I do a lot of the finance and just a lot of the promotions and all over the place. But it is fun and interesting, and I learned a lot about cigars, and it's a great company, and I love it.
Now, as you have smoked cigars over a number of years, have you seen your palate evolve to go from milder cigars maybe that you might have started with to bolder cigars, or did you actually start on bold cigars and just love that from that point forward? We'll start with Diane.
So when we first started smoking cigars together, we started off with like Connecticut wrappers, something a little bit lighter, milder, sweeter. But eventually, and it wasn't really that far into it, I found out that I really liked a smaller, like Maduro, like a robust cigar. And that's usually what I want to go to, but often Shane will be like, no, try something new. You can try this. And I'm like, all right, I will. But I have like my go-to favorites that I always kind of want to go to because I know I enjoy them. So.
How about you, Linda?
Well, I too started out with more Connecticut wrapper cigars, milder. I've always smoked them with coffee or water. Sometimes, occasionally, I'll have a glass of wine with mine, but most of the time it's coffee or water, and most of the time water or coffee. But my granddad always had La Glorias in his front shirt pocket, and one in his mouth and two in his pocket. And so I just kind of, I don't know, I quickly evolved my palate, I should say. So now I'm more bolder, full bodied, full flavored, and very rarely will I smoke a Connecticut wrapper. And because I just don't get the flavors that everybody else gets with a Connecticut wrapper, for me, they always just taste like burnt brown paper bag, and I just can't, I can't taste those flavors. But in other cigars, I can taste them all day long. I'll get flavors sometimes that people can't, or, but not the Connecticut. So it has definitely evolved.
How about you, Lakeisha?
Sorry for the background noise. Okay. What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Oh, so when you started cigars, did you start with mild and work your way to bold, and you just jump right on in and smoke bold?
Yeah, it was mild for me. I'm more of a coffee. Like I started, like I'm more of a coffee type of person. It's got to be sweet in the beginning, but you know, my husband, he's more of a bold type of person, so I kind of like navigated towards more of the bold flavors. Like when he's outside, you know, herfing and stuff like that. I've just recently just started to try more of the bold ones. I want to say 2012 Barber or some sort like that. We started that way, but I started smoking more of the bold flavors. So I think I'm going more towards the bold flavors. I like those though. I thought it was more gonna be more of a sweet girl and keep it chocolate or, you know, stuff like that. But nope, I'm more of a bold.
Well, one of the nice things about even a bold cigar, and Linda will attest to this, I'm sure, and others, once your palate is evolved, you get those notes. You get like this little cocoa note,
Yeah.
or this caramel note. You get these interesting notes that your palate picks up, and that's what makes it so much fun, because you're smoking that cigar and you're like going, yeah, this is actually good. It has a natural sweetness to it. It doesn't have to be infused and artificial in itself. Val, what about you?
You know, it really depends on my mood, honestly. I'm like a lot of the other women, I drink it with, I smoke them with coffee and water and just, you know, there's some really good morning cigars and then there's some maybe more bolder. I would lean towards night, but that's just me. I still do love some of the flavors and especially the coffee infused ones. Oh, love those.
Yeah, I can have those every now and then. It's sometimes if I take a break from what I've been smoking, I might pick up a dessert cigar, have a little cordial, and smoke a Cuba or something like that. And when I'm done with it, I'm like, okay, now I need a cigar. It's just the way it is. But what's interesting about this dialogue is I think people, you got to understand that it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman when you first time. You tend to be afraid of the dark cigars, right? You're like, oh, that's going to be strong. It's going to be harsh. It's going to knock me on my butt. And then you learn over time and you eventually move into that. And I think most cigar smokers tend to gravitate that way. But one thing I will say, and maybe you can comment on it, I will say that bold looking cigars are not necessarily strong cigars. Because the strength is going to come not from wrap,
Okay.
but from the filler. If they add Lajero, which is the top of the plant, that's the strongest leaf. They add that into the cigar to give it the strength, and then they'll wrap that together with the Secos and the Visos to kind of give it the flavors. And depending upon how much Lajero, I've had a Connecticut that literally I had to put down halfway through because my head got woozy. It was knocking me apart because they just filled it with like.
Well, I need to know which one that is.
Now, years ago, and we'll talk a little bit about Wisconsin for a second. About 5 years ago, I was at my local shop, and this wonderful women's smoking group came in who do tours around the country, and they're known as the Cigar Babes, right? And I think, Diane, you might be familiar with the Cigar Babes out of Wisconsin.
I don't know.
They're at the, what is it, the Country Line or something, Cigar Lounge?
Lake Country, yes.
Lake Country,
okay.
yeah. And what they did is they did a survey back in 2015 where they surveyed a small sample, 500 female cigar smokers, and they asked them numerous questions. And what was interesting about that, and they put out a report on it, and let's see if I could just share this for a second. And before we do that, I'm going to welcome in Yasmin. Yasmin is from my local cigar lounge. Yasmin, she's connecting on. Yasmin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Do real quick, introduce yourself, where you're from, and how long you've been smoking cigars.
All right. My name is Yasmin. Sorry, I'm just getting acclimated. I'm in Savannah right now, on the move, on the road. It looks like this camera is messy. Trying to be in a lit area, but it's not working. I'm on a hotel patio. My name is Yasmin. I'm from Melbourne. I work at an executive cigar shop in Melbourne. I have no idea how long I've been smoking cigars, because I've been smoking cigars off and on all of my adulthood, and I'm a little long in the tooth. So it's been a little while, but avidly the past 5 years, you know, like in the cigar industry. Prior to that, just recreational. I have a women's group, a women's cigar club called Fumeras. And we're mostly based in Florida, but we have people all over the place. I'm trying to get a little bit more light.
All right. So what I'm introducing here, Yasmin, I just started to talk about Cigar Babes when they came to Executive Cigar Lounge back in 2015, the old lounge. And what they did is they did this survey, and this is just a glimpse of it. What was interesting is like how often do you smoke cigars? And 48% would say 8 cigars per month. How often do you all smoke cigars?
I smoke cigars daily, so I'm usually like a once a dayer unless I have something going on, and then if we have events, you know, could be up to 3 to 5 a day. Just depends.
How about Linda?
Solidly, I'm a
that's daily for me.
Every day?
It's daily.
Diane?
Yeah, unless it's snowing.
I try to do at least 2 or 3.
Okay. Let's talk. Diane, how about you?
Not as many as I previously have. I mean, I like to smoke when I have it available, when I'm, you know, when I can, at least 1 a day, but that doesn't always happen. I mean, so usually if I'm smoking, I'll try to do 2 or 3. I couldn't always handle that many either. Like I was making myself sick because I just couldn't handle it. But now, I mean, if I'm gonna smoke, I'm gonna smoke 2 or 3. Probably be a good average.
Val?
I would say about maybe 4 times a week. Sometimes I'll smoke more than 1 in a sitting though. So it really depends on what's going on. And like, you know,
Give me 1 second, guys. 1 second.
like when it's nice out, we tend to smoke more because you're outside. And so then maybe it would be an everyday thing. But
Okay. How about you, Kat, owning a cigar company?
Daily.
Daily.
Sometimes once, it depends on how much I'm working, but for sure daily. This is my second show of the day, so this is my 3rd one for today.
All right. Yeah. You one-up me. This is my second of the day. But it's a big one. Lakeisha?
Yes. 2 to 3. Did I say at least 2 to 3 a day?
2 to 3 a day. So
yes.
There you go. This survey was done 5 years ago. And what's interesting is they were talking about 8 a month, like 48% of the female cigar smokers.
Not enough.
Small panel. We're talking about people that smoke just like men. You smoke for the same reason. You want flavor. You like bold. You like camaraderie when you go places.
Right.
The other things that came out of that survey, which I found interesting, was there were some notes I had made in an article I wrote on it. And what they noted was they talked about how you shop, all right? And they mentioned that the important aspect of a woman shopper is that they're loyal to brands, they're loyal to shops, whether it's apparel, accessories, or cigars. And when it comes to cigar accessories, they found out that, like, if you take lighters, for instance, they found that women buy them because they like them, not because they need them. And 80% of female cigar smokers have more than 3 lighters, and their favorite brand is Zycar. You agree with that comment?
Probably.
Okay.
Zycar, and then Bethol is catching up there these days, because I just unpacked a bag and I had like 9 lighters in there, and yeah, so quite a few. I didn't realize I had that many in one bag.
How about you, Diane?
I really don't have to have my own stuff. I usually just borrow his, but I do say, like I would say, better. But I mean, he's got a plethora of them, and I have a few that are actually, like, yes, dedicated to me. But actual cigars or the lighters, I prefer the Zycar. It's reliable. It works great. It's a nice lighter.
Kat, you got more than one lighter and cutter?
Of course, we have different brands, different. I'm using this one right now, G-Star. It's got the most butane, but it's not about any specific brand, because we have a couple and sometimes they go out depending on what event we're working. As long as it works, I'm going to use it. So I just want my cigar lit. So brand wise, I'm not loyal to anything. As long as I just need something that works.
All right. So Linda, you loyal to different brands and shops?
Well, we don't have any brick and mortars close to us. The closest is an hour, and that's in Knoxville, Tennessee. As far as lighter brands, we just share. We don't. I'm with Kat. We just want whatever's gonna work and light our cigar. At the moment, we've got a Turbo Blue and a Cohiba and a couple of others that are, not brand names, but they work. So whatever's close and handy, that's what we're using. I'm actually more loyal to a cutter than I am a lighter. I don't know if the other ladies are, but
Okay.
I have certain cutters. Yeah.
How about you, Val?
I prefer the Fizzle. We sell a lot of those. Honestly, I actually have one right here. You can kind of see it. They tend to be, for me, more reliable. I don't know if it's because, like the climate, we're outside a lot and they just blow out, but these tend to work well for me.
Okay. I'm going to take a moment here. Just give me a moment. I want to give a shout out to the sponsors of our show today. So today we are brought to you by Tarazona Cigars. Tarazona Cigars are very passionate about the cigars they make, and since 2002, they have taken pride in the quality and craftsmanship of every cigar that goes into every box of Tarazona. Tarazona Cigars, they do it with passion. Our second sponsor is Frontline Cigars. Frontline Cigars is always on the front line of flavor. Frontline Cigars is a first responder owned company based in the Chicagoland area that strives to give back to those that serve, whether it be responders, first responders, or military, through numerous charitable foundations. At frontlinecigars.com, you'll find a wide range of cigars from boutique to everyday brands, in addition to a fine selection of cigar accessories and swag. There's always something new at frontlinecigars.com. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook at www.frontlinecigars.com. Thank you to my sponsors. Without them, the show is more difficult. Another thing that came out of this survey, which I found interesting, I'd like to get your input on this. So when we see advertisements or promotions that you see on Facebook, especially even in magazines, so you see a lot of times there's these scantily clad women. And one of the comments and when they got this, 78%, I believe, of the women they surveyed disapprove of that. What is your view on these brands that just have to show their brand with some scantily clad women showing off the cigar? We'll start with Linda.
Thanks. I mean, ultimately, to each his own. Me personally, I can only speak for myself. If I show cleavage, it's not on purpose. And I'm not going to show my body. If I just feel that if a cigar needs to do that, whatever, but it doesn't make me want to buy it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't buy cigars for the aesthetics, but I buy into the aesthetics of sexy cigar smoking. It's a whole thing. I think just like how Dove came out with their campaign of women of every size, color, all that kind of thing, we should showcase that, because in reality, women are still one of the highest growing demographics of cigar smokers. We spend a lot of money on cigars and accessories, and there's more of us annually starting to smoke than there are men at this time. So you got to find a different way to market. When you market things like that in a sexy way, it markets to guys, not so much to us. When I look at magazines, I look at the cigar, I read the specs. I'm interested in how it tastes, how it smokes, how it burns, not in who the hell's holding it. Even when they come out with like George Clooney on the cover or something, that's not going to make me get it. And I love George Clooney.
How about you, Kat?
I'm the same. I don't knock people if that's how they feel like they need to market. Like Linda said, it's not going to make me want to buy it. More so, I want to know that what they're selling has substance to it, that I'm going to enjoy the cigar. As a female in this industry, I want to be taken seriously. And yeah, I could post pictures like that all day, but it's not going to get me any more respect, because I'm going to it's taken me a while to build the brand that we have now. And it didn't come based on posting those kind of pictures.
Right on.
People that do that, that's their business. If that's what they do, more power to them. But for me, I want to sell a good product, and doesn't have to come by showing parts of me. Because I also have to, when you build a brand like this, you have to put everything into it. I have a son now that's nearly old enough to smoke. He's in the Navy now. I don't want him to see me in those kind of positions, and be like, oh, gross, that's my mom, but be proud of what we're doing here, because we're trying to build something that's going to last. So I don't need those pictures.
Okay. Diane?
From just the consumer standpoint, yeah, I could care less about it. Like, it doesn't impact me. It doesn't make me want to buy it. Obviously, that's marketing towards men. I could care less about that. I want to know more about the cigar itself. Like, am I going to enjoy the cigar? Like, that is just, to me, it's nonsense. It's just a marketing ploy like anybody else would use for any other product. So, I mean, yeah, if they were more inclusive for women and, trying to get women into it more, that'd be great. But like, that's not going to impact me now at this point, whether or not I'm going to. Like,
How about you, Val?
I actually completely agree with Kat. Just owning a company and just having a daughter who's going to be 16 very soon, I completely respect it, but don't want to look like I'm 16. I'm good.
Okay. Lakeisha?
Like if I can piggyback off of the marketing again, again, want to be treated with respect. Don't just come and try to sell me something just to market, the brand and whatnot. Just I like to smoke cigars. I'm a cigar smoker, so don't, if I can say, don't shit me. Don't half-ass me. Just like you would be bold enough to speak to my husband about cigars and give good quality, I expect you to do the same thing for me.
Thank you. Very good. Very, very well said. And I go back to what Yasmin had said, and she's absolutely right. The female cigar smoker is the largest growing demographic in this industry, and more shops would do themselves justice by appealing to that demographic when they can, especially like having female cigar groups like Yasmin has. They teach each other about cigars. They experience it. One of the things that the Cigar Babes did in Wisconsin, and by the way, just so you know, Cigar Babes is a moniker, but what they do is they raise money they go around these different shops and build awareness, and they raise money to bring clothes down to Nicaragua and Dominican and Honduras to help out the single moms, especially that are in the industry. So that's kind of what they've been doing for a long time. And one of the things they said was, they asked me, what I like to pair with my cigars as far as the beverage, and it'll vary. It is usually it's a scotch or a whiskey or a rum, maybe an orange cream soda, various different beverages, right? They said, did you ever try tea with a cigar? And I'm curious, and what they do is they have tea parties. They actually run tea parties at their shop where they have this women's group that comes in and they all drink some really good, English teas and Indian teas, and they experience a completely different flavor profile with that pairing. Have any of you ever tried tea with your cigar?
Yeah.
What was your
experience? I make a pineapple black tea, and I have smoked that with several cigars, especially in the summer. It's more refreshing. We don't have a place to smoke inside, although I just did this evening. But so we smoke outside, and it gets really hot. So that was very refreshing, and you do get more flavors and notes with tea. But I would say that with anything that you drink with a cigar, you're going to get different notes.
Yeah.
So it just go with what you like.
I found it to be rather unique because I never did that, and I actually went home afterwards, and the next day I actually made some tea, made some black tea, and I sat back and I little lemon in that, and I smoked a cigar, and I was like, wow, what a difference. The tannins in the tea kind of started to bring out flavors that I weren't normally getting in the cigar. Anybody else tried with this?
Yeah, and I've noticed there's a difference between whether you drink the tea hot or cold too. I
Yeah.
noticed that, I've done it both ways, and whenever I play around with not drinking alcohol, I'll play with coffees and teas and all kinds of things. So
I think it depends on the flavor of the tea. Honestly, green tea would work good with an acid cold infusion, but if I'm going for a peppermint tea, I don't think that's going to work with a cigar too well for me.
right.
I like to do the dandelion root tea with with the minty cigar in the mornings. Has anybody tried dandelion root tea before?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's good stuff. Good liver cleanser while you're smoking a cigar is amazing.
Yep, I was going to say it's a good liver detox.
Definitely do some of that.
The other thing that the survey showed was that most female cigar smokers got started because they had a male friend that introduced them to it. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, my husband introduced me because I was like, at first I'm like, nah, girls don't smoke cigars, no. But he was like, no, try it. and he had me try. I forgot which one was it. I might be wrong. I think it was Sons of Anarchy, and I've been sold ever since. I've been smoking cigars for a couple years now. So yeah, I'm glad he introduced me to it because I'd rather have a cigar with a nice shot of bourbon or a nice beer, set the mood right after a long day.
Right on. How about you, Yasmin?
You know, my family's Dominican, so I kind of grew up around cigars, and they were always around, so I smoked them intermittently. First time I smoked one, I threw up, but I was really young and, of course, didn't know what I was doing. And then as I got in the past few years, it's mainly because I was working in the industry. So whenever I did smoke cigars, it probably was prior to working in the industry. It probably was, now that I think back, usually with a male. You know, whenever I had a cigar, it was with a family member, cousin, an uncle, somebody like that. I've always had a little bit of a cigar collection that I would share with guys. So,
Anybody else?
So
Yeah.
I got into it personally was there was I was a server and a bartender previously before COVID, and where I was working held an event where it was like a bourbon versus scotch tasting, and they encouraged, because it was outside, they're like, if you have cigars, you can bring them and smoke them. And so at the time, Shane was like, yeah, I'll bring, like, he only smoked, 3 times a year at most, I think he said, before all of this. So we brought that with him, and we went through the dinner and like pairing that and then with the cigar. And I was the one who was like, that smells really good. And then I tried it and I was like, I didn't want to give it back. And so then further into that, I kept going like, oh, let's go smoke a cigar. Let's go smoke a cigar. So I kind of threw him down the rabbit hole, so to speak. He blames me anyway.
So you were the enabler for him.
Yeah.
All right.
Huh?
How about you, Kat?
It was something we did together. I'm a tomboy at heart just because of from a military family, and then when I joined, so I have that camaraderie, I guess, and then my husband's former Army too. So we did it together. There wasn't one of us that did it more than the other, and that helped us even jump headfirst into the industry. Was smoking together. So definitely we enable each other, and now obviously own a business, so temptation's there every day. So
Did you have a dad that smoked cigars in the military?
my dad passed already.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And he smoked a pipe.
Okay.
Yeah, he was old school. So
How about you, Val?
You know what? I have always smoked cigars with like somebody with them, especially a male. It always seems to be a male lighting them. And even to this day, like Steve will get mad at me because he'll light a cigar and I'll just take it. And if I like it, I'll try to sneak off with it. But yeah, I mean, they're always there and they're good. So
I have to admit that, I was enabled to smoke cigars by a male friend. Just that's what it was. It was way back in the 1970s, but I'm old. So when you go, has any of you gone into a cigar shop alone? Just to go in, sit down and smoke a cigar?
Yes.
yeah.
So
I didn't sit there long because I got very agitated and upset and had to leave because I felt like I was being disrespected because I was just sitting there and nobody even came to say, hey, what are you smoking or what you want? It's kind of like more of a self-help type of thing. I had to go into the cigar. I was expecting for them to treat me like they treat my husband. Like, as soon as my husband go in, oh, hey, there, Ace. Oh, what are we trying today? Are we doing the same XYZ? Oh, maybe you should try this one. This is a little bit more robust. And I get, oh, hey, go ahead, pick what you want and go sit down and smoke. So
Right.
the religion just like went to the back to the back burner. Yeah. So I was like really upset about that.
how about you, Yasmin?
Yeah, I have. I go in. My biggest issue is I get pissed off when I get mansplained, because it's like go in. Of course, I like certain things. I'll ask certain questions. I'll be looking for something else. Then they start trying to talk to me.
Somebody ate something wrong for dinner. We'll let that trip.
I have no idea what that was. Oh, still going. I'm in downtown Savannah, and I haven't been here in like 20, 30 years. I have no idea what that was. Yeah, so they try to mansplain me or steer me towards flavors. Get out of here.
Yeah.
So very different. And then they look at guys, even working in the shops, they look at somebody else, and it's like, he doesn't. That's just a customer. He doesn't even know. He's not educated.
Yeah.
You know, he knows what he likes, but he can't tell you where to find anything or what you're looking for.
Right. Or they'll point you to the fruity stuff. Like, oh, you would like no. I need you to treat me the same way you treat my husband. Give me some with a little bite to it, a little pepper flavor to it. That's like you would suggest my husband. Can you do me the same way?
Did anybody else have an experience like that? Go into a cigar shop alone?
I know when I go, it's usually with somebody. I mean, I've gone with a friend before, but that cigar shop already knew me and knew what I liked. So I really can't from that personal standpoint. I mean, I'm sure if I did, it would happen, but the places that I do go now know me. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't go
Friends. Go ahead.
without my husband.
I'm sorry. Say it again, Linda.
I said I don't go into cigar shops without my husband because it's so far away, so we're usually together. But he's the one that got me actually smoking cigars, and he's been smoking for many years. But yeah, I don't go by myself. I can, and I just choose not to.
And do you have any girlfriends that you go out with once in a while on a girls' night out smoking cigars?
I get frowned upon. I'm the only girl that smokes cigars in my girl group.
I know Yasmin probably does.
Women tend to not. I don't. Women tend to not like me, so I'm.
What's their loss?
How about you, Yasmin?
It's been that way my whole life. So.
I'm getting a lot of background noise right now.
Yeah.
Outside. Yeah, but usually, I know a lot of people that's from just bar scenes. I know a lot of people that smoke cigarettes and that are very, very anti-cigar. So generally, I kind of nudge them until I can convert them with something that's really mild, doesn't offend the palate, that they kind of start to get into. And but with real cigarette smokers, they're always going to have that inhalation issue. And then, they would go back to smoking cigarettes. With girls in the group, after a few cocktails, I find that they're a lot more pliable. And then I find them something they like, and then it turns into like their little routine. So a lot of the women that do join my cigar group kind of only do it when they come out. A lot of times women, we just don't even have time to smoke, especially smoking at home when you have families and little kids and things like that. So that little once a month break is sometimes all they get.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
A lot
Yes.
of things into a period of time.
So you brought up an interesting point about cigarette smoking. So how many in this room smoke cigarettes before they smoke cigars, still smoke cigarettes? I never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've been smoking cigars since 1977. How about you? Start with Val, because I know Val's story.
I do both. I don't know. I've been smoking for years, and I don't know. Cigars never bothered me either, so I just kind of go both ways, I guess.
Anybody else smoke cigarettes before they started smoking cigars? Kat, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm the same way as Val. I smoked cigarettes for years. And I'll have one in the morning, then I'll have a cigar, then I'll have another cigarette. It just depends on the day, whatever. But
Okay. Lakeisha, you were saying?
Yes, I smoked cigarettes years prior before I started the cigars. I kind of quit. I had quit. It's been it's been about 9 years
Well, good for you.
since I quit smoking. Cold turkey. I don't know why I even started smoking cigarettes. I probably was just something to do. But my thing is definitely cigars.
Okay. Anybody else?
I had never really smoked. I mean, I had, but not like religiously. It wasn't something that I did all the time. But they just didn't have flavor. It wasn't good. You know, it wasn't doing it for me. And then once I got into cigars, that was it. So.
Okay. So at this point of the show is where I take us into what's new in news and cigar reviews on Stogie Press. So let me go through that. We'll start with news. So today I put out the my YouTube channel, the episode 33 of Taking to the Nub with Stallone, Nicaraguan Cigars, and Todd Vance. So if you go to that article, you'll see the YouTube video. So it's all posted out there and archived. Whiff Industries, if you're familiar with Whiff Industries, they're the ones that had the product called Whiff Out, which is a terrific odor neutralization product. They've expanded their line now to include a few other products. They have these wicks, okay, and they have these melts, okay? So they have a complete line now of odor neutralization products. You can check it out on their site, and you can look at the article. It'll explain it all to you. I've put out my annual Stogie Press 2020 holiday gift guide. Now, important thing this year on this gift guide, I just point this out to everybody. I'll open this up for a second. So these are gift guides. These are things I might have reviewed this year, previous years. People I pay tribute to, like Jesse Flores of his Vixens 1975 website. There are some really cool gifts in here. But if you go to the very bottom of this for everybody that's watching, get any other ideas for this, comment on this article on Stogie Press, and after Christmas, I will draw 2 winners that's going to get some pretty nice stash from my personal collection. Okay, so get out there and comment on this because there's some good stuff coming. It's going to be a lot more than a 5-pack of cigars. Okay, I guarantee that. So go out there, comment on it. If you comment, please provide a website that I can link to, and I'll add it to this gift guide as it grows. So if you're interested in cool gifts, you can check that out. We do that every year. I did a recap of Lazona Palooza. So last weekend, it was Espinosa had what they call Lazona Palooza. Lazona Palooza is an annual event. They did this one virtually this year. So I kind of give a recap here. One of the guests on that was Guy Fieri, which was phenomenal. So Guy is a big Espinosa fan. I didn't know that, but he is. And he was really cool. He told some great stories. We also had Jay Madison on, who is the spokesperson for Uncle Nearest Whiskey. He gave us a great history of this, the first African-American owned whiskey distillery in the country. And a lot of people have been talking about Uncle Nearest. I need to get myself some because not only everybody talking about it, but the way he described it, I want some. We also had Abe from Smoke Inn was on. And then you can go through the rest of this. There are slideshows in here. I was snapping the Zoom throughout here. So there are a bunch of slideshows. You can see all your fun characters and friends you may know. There were oodles of giveaways. They did such a great job for 2 days. They ran 4.5 hours a day from 6 to 10:30 with this virtual event, which is normally People get invited to go down to Lazona Palooza once a year. And the way you get invited is you post on the Lazona page on Facebook. You post photos of Espinosa cigars. You tag it with hashtag LZP 2021, and they monitor that. And the people who post the most, they get personal invites to come in, and the party's free. It's like 2.5, 3 days at the warehouse down in Hialeah Gardens in Miami. So great event. They had a really good time. I had a great time. I never thought I'd be on a Zoom for 9 straight hours, that off 2 days. And lastly, we also put out this product review, which is a gift guide of this really cool device that does spirit infusion. And after that review, I actually used their one of the infusions to make this really cool tequila infusion that has orange and tea and other ingredients in it, and it makes some amazing margaritas. So you can check those out. The as far as reviews go, we only had 2 reviews this week. I was busy with other things. We talked about the Providencia Cigars. One of my sponsors, what they've done is they're coming out with a whole new line of cigars that are giving tribute to the 1980s. So there's all their banding and the marketing is around 80s type of things. This particular one is called the Mixtape. We gave this a 92. The band itself is representing a cassette tape from back in the 80s. This is just a really, really spectacular new offering from them. A little different than what they've done before because went from a Honduran factory to a Nicaraguan factory. This is a Habano Nicaraguan and Nicaraguan Ometepe fillers. And you could just see it's a beautiful cigar. It's got kind of a shaggy foot to it, which is nice. And the burn was very decent. It had a little off burn on the cone, had a little off-scented burn cone. And at the end, it just had tremendous flavor. I mean, when we talk about the flavors earlier, this one went through pepper and candied fruit, bacon spice and sweetness and cedar and espresso. It kept on transition and kept me interested all the way down to the nub. So really, really nice cigar. The other one we did was one of my other sponsors, El Artistas. El Artista is one of the largest manufacturers of cigars in the Dominican Republic. This cigar here is known as the Puro Amber. This is one of their first cigars in their lineup from years ago. They weren't able to get the original ingredients, so they revamped this cigar. And I have to tell you, the revamped cigar is a whole lot better than the original. This cigar right here is $6.80. And this is what you can do when you have a vertically integrated company. They own farms, they own the processing facilities, they own the factory. It's all a one-stop shop for them. So they do it all. So they can get that price down for under $7 retail on their cigars. These cigars are absolutely spectacular. Beautiful kind of reddish brown color to it. Burn, got to show you this burn here. This burn, look at the burn on that. Just absolutely gorgeous. Nice long ash, nice scented burn cone. And this one actually gave me a most interesting note of cookie dough, okay? The aroma. And I had to think about it, like I say in the article, because I kept smelling and I go, what is that? And I said, and my brain's telling me cookie dough. And I'm going, it can't be cookie dough. I'm not going to say cookie dough. But I kept smelling it and I go, damn it, it's cookie dough. So I said it, it's cookie dough. And it also had this beautiful light almond note near the end of the second, third. And I love that almond note in cigars once in a while. So this one here, Extreme Solid Ash by a box. It was a slightly little bitter note that I'd take a point off in a very mild wave in the burn. But overall, this cigar is spectacular. And for $6.80, damn well buy a box. So those are the news and reviews on Stogie Press for this week. So there was a great show. What next week, we're going to have a kind of a celebrity on the show. He's an Instagram cigar celebrity known as Big Time Tommy. And for those who don't know Big Time Tommy is, he used to have a show years ago called Car Fellas, which is these three Italian guys that had a car lot. And of course, it's a reality show, so there's a lot of drama and all that. A bunch of Italian guys with gold chains and everything, yelling and screaming at each other. But he does 15-second Instagram videos every day talking about a thought of the day. And his whole thing is about old school for life. He wants to take us back to the old ways, say, hey, this is old school, and think old school, you know. Great respect for women. He's done some 15-second videos about why do we disrespect women. I mean, he goes on and on about this stuff, about what's wrong with you. Your mother gave birth to you. What are you doing? You might have a sister. Why do you guys want to disrespect women? And he has some shticks on that. He goes on and on. And he also has a wine. If you want to get some in, if you like wine, and I ordered some of these, so I'm gonna have a couple of bottles next week. But he has this wine company, and excuse my French on this one. The name of the wine is called Good Fucking Wine. And see, Val got some. There it is.
We have it. It's really good. It's great with cigars too.
What can I get some of that good fucking wine or whatever it's
Good
called?
fucking wine, right? And he also has some good fucking holiday wine now too for the holidays. So we're gonna get into all of that next week on the show. It's gonna be a blast. All right. So he's an old Brooklyn Italian, not old Brooklyn Italian, he's probably younger than me, but the stuff we're gonna talk about is gonna be different than anything we've talked about on this show since. So tune in for that. It should be a blast. Ladies, I want to thank you. I was getting comments saying this has been a great show. People they said they've learned a lot on the show. Let's see some of the other comments.
Well, when can we do this again?
Well, we'll probably do it again in another couple of months. Pull together some of this. What I try to do is I try to space things out between celebrities, and then I like to have just a basic consumer panel, but I felt this week would be really cool. And I want to thank you all for coming in and taking the time tonight, because like I said, my guest wasn't able to make it, canceled the last minute. And I want to really thank Steve for reaching out to people, because Steve from Frontline Cigars did me a solid by reaching out to
Steve's
people.
awesome.
And got you all to come on in, and it's been awesome. So any closing comments? We'll go around. We'll start with Kat.
No, thank you for having me, and definitely shout out to Steve. The Frontline Cigars does sell our cigars as well. So much love to you, Val, and to Steve from Nolan and I.
Yes.
Love you guys too.
How about you, Yasmin?
Ladies, you're awesome. I look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Jimmie, I love you. Just great to have this moment.
Same here. Yes. Same here. We have to do this again, especially without the kids for me. Because if my husband can hurf without the kids, so can I.
How about you, Linda?
Well, thank you for having me and the rest of the ladies, and thanks to Steve who got all of us in this together. And it was nice meeting some new faces, and I would love to connect with each of you on Facebook and on Instagram. So I'm on there as Linda, Lady Linda Baird on Insta, and so thanks again, Austin Jimmie.
Thank you, Diane.
It was so good seeing everybody. This was a kick-ass. I like this. This is awesome.
Definitely.
How about you, Diane?
I was going to say thank you for inviting me. This was a lot of fun. There aren't as many women cigar smokers that I know personally, and so this is fun connecting with other women who get it. and women who are in charge and they're in the business, and that's awesome. I love it. It was fun.
Great. And Val, thank you. And Steve, what is your
Thank you. And don't forget to check out our website and use the code Stogie Press to sell Echelon. And we have a great sale coming up.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving. If you're spending time with family, just be safe with each other and make sure we're not doing crazy stuff this year. And 2021 is very close. Hopefully we will get out of this pandemic and I can start visiting some shops again like I like to do. And if I get in your neck of the woods, I'll look you up and we'll go burn one.
All right.
Hey, thank you all.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Ladies, y'all be safe, gentlemen. You be safe too. Take care now.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.
All right.